Hi everyone, it's Jeremy. Today we're talking about ultra laptop. Samsung lent me the Galaxy Book 4 Pro, a 14 inches computer with an Intel Core Ultra 7, 16GB of RAM and a 512GB of SSD. It's a computer that immediately reminded me of the Macbook Air with its thinness and lightweight, since that's what I usually use, and I wanted to see if it could reach the same level in terms of performance. Because I have to say that I wouldn't mind switching back to Windows if I could get a thin, light device that allows me to do my video editing in good condition. So is it the case with this Book 4 Pro? Let's find out today, starting with the unboxing. The computer comes with a 65-watt charger, a USB-C to USB-C cable and some documentation. The charger is compact, similar to what you'd get with a smartphone, which makes it easier to carry around. Moving on to the computer itself, it really does have a premium high-end look and will be available only in grey with its aluminum chassis. Regarding the dimensions, it measures 312 by 223 by 11.6 mm, weighing in at 1 kg and 23 grams. It's even lighter than a 12 inches tablet and keyboard combo, even though it has a 14-inch screen. For ports, on the left, two Thunderbolt 4 USB-C ports and an HDMI 2.1 port that supports 8K at 60Hz and 5K at 120Hz. On the right hand side, a USB-A 3.2 port, a microSD reader and a jack port. The chassis looks solid, so you can open it easily with one hand and hold it like this. To access the component, you'll need to remove 4 screws under the anti-squeeze pads. Given that it's a loaner, I'm going to avoid opening it, but from what I've read, you can replace the SSD, but the RAM will be soldered, so you won't be able to change the 16GB or the Wi-Fi module. The keyboard is really pleasant and comfortable to use, the keys are well spaced and wide, and the backlight works well too, as does the trackpad. On the top are the classic function keys for screen brightness, keyboard backlighting and practical function. The F11 key for setting the performance mode between hide, silent, discrete and optimized, which really helps, as we'll see later, and finally a start button containing a fingerprint reader for unlocking, which works very well. A big highlight of this Book 4 Pro is its screen, a 14-inch AMOLED display with a resolution of 3K and a fluidity of up to 120Hz. The result is infinite contrast and deep blacks that bring out the colors. This model is also available in a 16-inch version, and for photo and video viewing it's a real winner. I've also used it several times to watch series or film in my bed with no surrounding light, and it really makes a difference compared with the LCD model we used to on laptops or even tablets, where the blacks aren't completely black, which can be annoying at night. And as a little bonus, the screen is touch sensitive, which means you can use it a bit like a tablet for everything from browsing to video playback, and given that it's thin and light, it's not unpleasant. But you'll just have to remember to activate the discrete performance mode to avoid the fan going off and reminding you that it's really a computer. The anti-reflective coating also helps a lot in situations where you can't necessarily move around. In terms of screen option, you can activate a night lighting mode to block blue light, activate adaptive colors to adapt to the environment, use HDR for compatible application, and set the dynamic refresh rate to oscillate between 60 or 120 Hz or force it to one or the other. For audio, we've got 4 AKG speakers that deliver a sound that lets you follow your series, film and music in good quality. I think it's still below a MacBook Air or MacBook Pro. Regarding the webcam, you will be able to film up to Full HD 30 FPS. This is more than enough for everything related to voice conferencing, so that's pretty good. We also have some different options available, such as automatic framing. So if I move around, I should be always in the frame, and there is also an option for background blur, so standard one and portraits. To summarize the main feature, it's equipped with an Intel Core Ultra 7 155H, it arrives with 16GB of RAM and it has a 512GB SSD. As previously mentioned, we won't be able to change the RAM as it's soldered, and the same goes for the Wi-Fi module, which will offer Wi-Fi 6E, not Wi-Fi 7, and there is only one configuration available on the brand website, at least in France. The same applies to the 16-inch model. If we move on to the benchmark, I'll show you what I was able to get with Cinebench 2024, Geekbench, Crystalmark, and it comes to pretty much the same result as I was able to get with my Apple MacBook Air M1. The difference is that the M1 was released in November 2020 and has no fan. Here you can quickly hear the fan with the performance mode activated, and the heat is noticeable if you hold it on your legs, where it reaches 50 degrees on this part. Of course, this will only happen when you're doing demanding tasks. Here it's after a benchmark, so it's normal for it to require more resources and heat up more. But in normal office use, you won't hear the fan go off, as you can switch to discrete or optimized mode without slowing down the computer. I'll give you an example of the fan right away in high performance mode. In terms of office work, there is no problem with browsing, opening multiple windows, using the Office suite. You can play 4K video on YouTube, for example. You can also play 4K file directly, of course, on your computer, and you can avoid activating the performance mode precisely to avoid being bothered by the fan, especially when watching a video. Coupled with its size, keyboard and screen, it's a great way to do research, type, watch content, and why not replace a tablet. For gaming, I wonder if the new Intel Arc graphics chip will help in this area, and I tested with two different resolutions on Cyberpunk, where I was able to get around 15 FPS with max resolution and average performance. By setting the resolution to Full HD and the characteristic to low, I was able to get around 20 FPS. The results were roughly equivalent on Fortnite, with settings set to low. I was averaging 15 FPS. So this is not a gaming computer, of course, but you may be able to play some less demanding game depending on the situation. For the creation part, I used Lightroom Classic to create HDR photos, so 3 photos taken with 3 different exposures and then put them back together, here for real estate photography. So it takes time, and it took me 1 hour to process 222 groups of 3 photos using the high performance mode. I also did a test with my MacBook Air M1 to compare, and it took me around 50 minutes, so it's pretty much the same. HDR photo editing wasn't always completely fluid, but it was the same on the M1. It's a demanding task, and that's normal, but it's still usable for that. And given the quality of the screen, you won't have any trouble getting nice, accurate colors. I also wanted to edit videos on DaVinci Resolve 4K file, as I do on my channel. It works, but it still has some slowdowns in the viewing area when transitioning between 2 clips, or if I moved in the timeline, the preview didn't appear right away, unlike my MacBook Air where it's completely fluid, for example, so I probably won't replace it right away for this task, unfortunately. For battery life, the computer has a 63 Wh battery. With the charger, it can be fully recharged in just over 1 hour and 30 minutes. To give you an idea of autonomy, I played a video on Netflix with the brightness at half after fully charging the computer in optimized mode, and after 1 hour and 40 minutes I still had 80% left. If you're thinking of buying a Samsung computer, it may be because you also have a Samsung smartphone and want to make them work together. There are 13 Samsung applications pre-installed, such as Samsung Flow, Samsung Notes, Samsung Gallery and Samsung Studio, which allows you to receive a smartphone notification on your computer, control your smartphone from your computer, and there is also the link with Windows application, which lets you use your phone's camera as a webcam. But it could also be installed on a standard Windows computer, if I'm not mistaken, and it's not limited to Samsung computers. So that's probably not what will make you purchase it. As for the price, it's currently available on the Samsung France site at 1,500 euros instead of 2,000 euros in this 14-inch version, and at 2,100 euros in the 16 version. You'll have to check the site when you watch the video on your country, as there are trade-in bonuses, deferred reimbursement, and if you deduct everything, the price varies a lot at the end, coming well under the 1,500 euros. As I said earlier, there is only one version in grey with 16GB of RAM and 512GB of storage. So if you compare it with, say, a MacBook Air M3 with the same spec, it will be more like 1,700 euros in 512GB on Apple website with no bonus or gift offered. And if you take the MacBook Air M2 model still sold on the site, it will be 100 € less, at least on the France website. So with the base price at 2,000 euros, it's far too expensive in my opinion, but with the possible discounts and offer, it's far more interesting. In conclusion, this is a truly premium computer, very pleasant to use with its size, keyboard and superb screen for office work on the move, typing and search. Thanks to its performance, you'll be able to do photo editing, as I said before, but for video editing or gaming, on the other hand, it won't be the same. So in my case, I'm going to stick with my MacBook Air and probably get the latest version if I want to change, because for the moment, it's still the best power to weight ratio with the advantage of being fanless. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comment, and I'll see you in the next one.